of First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known.
Right. So we only know in part, and we look through a glass darkly. So that knowing in part is when you first come into truth, and you get in the knowledge, you're not fully aware. You had to keep walking with the Most High so he could keep revealing things to you by his prophets, and so on and so forth. But if you're in the world, you're looking through a glass darkly. If you're in the world, you like a brother in the truth would have told that brother, or would have told that sister, hey, look, sis, you shouldn't be dating outside of your tribe or outside of your people, because it's very dangerous. Or a brother might have told that brother, Daniel Irving, hey, look, I don't really, come chill with us. Come chill with your brothers. We're gonna show you real love. We're gonna show you brotherhood, because there ain't no brotherhood outside of us. So now a brother would have warned them. Give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 13. Because we have to see what a real friend looks like. We have to see what a real brother looks like. Because as blacks, Hispanics, and natives, when we look at our communities, we don't see brotherhood. We don't see sisterhood. We see each other tearing each other down. So how could we ever expect to get out of the conditioning that we're in? How could we ever expect to beat the system? Like, you got to think about it. We got real enemies. We have actual enemies, and we still would rather call each other ops. We have real enemies, and sisters would rather still argue over petty things, simple things. Let me know when you got the scripture.
Khan, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 13.
So let me get there with you. All right, you two out.
Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends.
Listen, you got to separate from your enemies. This is the counsel that we received, to separate from our enemies. So now when we look at the brother Daniel Irving, or when we look at the sister Said, who was unfortunately unalive, the both of these two, we could see how both of these two situations could have been avoided, right, simply by avoiding our enemies and just recognizing who is really our friends and who's really our brothers. And we also had to, do a better job at showing brotherhood and showing sisterhood, and making sure that our people have a place to go to actually, so that they don't gotta wander off, you understand, into other communities. Give me the next verse.
A faithful friend is like a strong defense.
So a faithful friend is a strong defense. When you actually have a real friend, or when you actually have a real brother, they won't allow you to go through certain things. They won't allow you to fall in certain areas. So think about it. If the brother Daniel Irving had real friends, when they seen him drown, they would have called for help, or they would have tried to help, instead of trying to cover up the evidence, instead of trying to flee. You understand? Because they're wicked, and because they're not true friends, they left that brother to rot. And I feel for his family, because that brother was just trying to go out, have a swim, but that brother wasn't mindful that I can't do everything with everybody. I can't be friends with everybody. And it's a shame. Give me the next verse, or read the rest of that verse out in 14.
And he that have found such a one have found a true treasure.
Have found a treasure.
Oh, so, he found the treasure, Salakia.
If you find you a true friend, you found a treasure. Why is it saying that? Because you'll understand that this person, even if it upsets you, they're not going to let you do something that's wrong or that's harmful to yourself. This person loves you so much that they're going to protect you. They're
Right.
going to make sure that you're going to thrive in life. Read next verse, Salaki.
Nothing doeth
Dove.
countervail
Gone.
a faithful friend.
Right. So it's nothing better than a faithful friend. You can't tell me. Like, I know everybody has. I mean, I can't even say everybody. We live in a wicked world. So I know me. I got some faithful friends. I got some faithful brothers. I know what it's like to have people that you could rely on. And trust me, having people that you could rely on goes a long way. And why am I saying that? Because if you fall or if you slip up somewhere, not saying that you should be looking to do that, but if you fall or slip up somewhere, you could definitely count on them.
Right.
Or God forbid you find yourself in a situation like the brother Daniel, and you may slip up and you start drowning. Your brothers or your friends will help you.
Right.
So think about it. There's nothing better than a faithful friend. Read on.
And his excellency is inviolable.
Exactly.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
Right.
And they that fear the Lord shall find him.
So when you keep these commandments, you'll find faithful friends. Salakia. For everybody in the world who is saying, man, I can't trust my homies. Or man, I can't trust my girl. Or man, I can't trust my man. For everybody that's out there saying these things, there's a place set up where you actually can trust. And it's in the ISUPK. It's in the doors of the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Because here we teach brotherhood. Here we teach sisterhood. Here we teach you how to shed yourself from this wicked world and do things accordingly in order. Because there's an order to how things have to be done. There's a playbook on how to be a friend. There's a playbook on how to be a brother. And because these other nations don't know that playbook, they don't do it. So we have to start understanding that so that we don't deal with them like brothers and like friends.
Right.
Give me verse 17 and you could drop it after that.
Verse 17. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright.
Right.
For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
Right. So if you a brother and you see your brother, doing something he shouldn't be doing, you'll pull him to the side and give him some counsel, and you'll show him the right way to do things. You'll be a brother, because in our world, just these two situations aside, in our world we see brothers getting wicked counsel. A lot of brothers, OGs or big homies, they ain't leading them to do nothing different than what they did. They
Right.
leading them right down the same hole, the same gutter that they've been. And also, I'm not just going to put all the blame on the older brothers, because the younger brothers as well are too comfortable with following after ignorance. Like I seen a video, Salakia, just a little sidebar. I seen a video of what's the rapper name? What's that rapper name? He'd be like, it's cool when you do it. Yeah, Finesse 2 times. Yeah, he was the little kid he was raising, King.
Yeah.
He had went online and he was just having a whole rant about how he was mad that Finesse 2 times made him sleep in a Spider-Man bed. Like, you a kid. He wanted to be in the streets with Finesse 2 times and doing all this other stuff. He want Finesse 2 times to bring him into a life that is not, it's not good to him for him to thrive.
Right.
And he's trying to keep him separate from that by keeping him in a kid's place, by putting him in a kid environment. So we as a people, we have to start realizing when we're introducing our people to things that are destructive too early. And shout out to Finesse Two Times for trying to put him in that kid environment, because that young man needs guidance. That
Right.
young man needs brotherhood. That young man needs structure. And without it, he's going to become another statistic. And give me First Maccabees chapter 2 verse 50. Because we need to look back, man. We need to look back on the traditions of old, man. And we need to look at what our ancestors did. Like, I had an Arab tell me that I should be celebrating the 4th of July, that I should be happy because we're free. And I'm like, well, my people aren't free. My people are struggling. My people are down in this place. And he wanted to argue me down, about how his people was oppressed and they fought back. And I just didn't get it, because he told me a whole story about how his people fought back, but was on the same hand telling me to tell my people not to fight back. So it's like we had to start to recognize that the council in this world, or the council in Babylon, is of Babylon. These people support Babylon, and they support the customs of it. And we had to separate from it, because the book said we was holy. The scripture said we was superior. We was way better than everybody else. So why would we go and, just do what they're doing? You got that? The scripture? First Maccabees.
Con. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 50. Now, therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law.
Listen, you gotta have a certain spirit towards the law.
Right.
You gotta have a spirit to where you understand why it's good. Like, let me see. Hold that for me real quick. Like the scriptures say, we fight for our laws and our lives. Yeah, this the hold that scripture in Maccabees. This the book of First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 21. It says, but we fight for our lives and our laws. So we have to understand that, it's a fight every day. And we have to be zealous. We got to be real. What's the word I'm looking for? We just got to be real on point. We got to be real on point when it comes to this law, because it's a good thing. And not only is it a good thing, it's how we live. It's how we continue to thrive. Because if we don't have anything that governs us, we fall. And it's evident. We see sisters going out, dating other nations, and perishing. We see brothers going out, doing things with other nations, and perishing. And right now, I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't happening before, but this is all I see on social media. Every single day, a new thing about how a brother or a sister was taken advantage of in Babylon. And it's like, when will all of us collectively just be like, yo, you know what? This been going on for too long.
All right.
Read out the rest of that verse in Maccabees.
And give your lives.
Call it out for the people online.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 50. Therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
You should be willing to die for this law. Like, brothers is too willing to die for a cause that doesn't have nothing to do with us succeeding. Brothers is willing to die for a block. Brothers is willing to die for a piece of paper. Brothers is willing to die for a clique that was made up in school. Brothers is willing to sacrifice their lives for covenants that have nothing to do with us as a people thriving. But the covenant of our fathers that was made with the Most High, if we give our lives to that, how righteous would it be for us to die for that? How righteous would it be for us to die for the law? You understand? It's like, wouldn't you rather die for the Most High than to die for yourself, or to die for, you know, a cause that many other people died for no reason, that was in ignorance? Like, for instance, the Bloods and the Crips.
All right.
How many brothers and sisters can we say that cause or that covenant has, you know, taken from us? Give me he who tries to save his life shall lose it. It's in Matthew. It's like, yeah. Because we just got to understand, you know, the cause that we're fighting for is only going to lead to destruction. Unless you fighting for the law, statutes, and commandments, you teaching our people to be the least. You teaching our people to be the worst. Like we've already been. We've already been at the bottom of the barrel. So why would we teach our people to stay there instead of teaching our people, yo, you know what? It's a better way. You know what? You ain't gotta go out with Esau and you know, rock out with him. You can come rock out with us. We brothers too. You know, we going through the same thing too. So we could devise a plan to get out of our oppression. We don't even have to devise the plan. That's the crazy thing. It's already here. You got it?
Khan, this is the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 33. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it.
Right. So if you lose your life for, it's say, for my sake, it said lose your life for my sake, or just lose your life.
It's a lose your life. If he who seeks to save his life shall lose it, and whoever shall lose his life shall preserve it.
All right, so it's another one just like it, but that's too wild for now.
Salakia, Matthew.
Yeah,
This is Matthew chapter 16, verse 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Right. So if you're losing your life for the Most High's cause, or for His covenant, or for what He wants you to lose your life for, don't you think that He has something in store for you that's righteous? Don't you think that you might gain something from that? Because what do we gain for dying for the Bloods? What do we gain for dying for the Crips? Or what do we gain for dying for a block? Nothing. That block remains that block, and new people move in, and none of us ever own anything. So it's like, how long will this system endure? Let's go back to Maccabees real quick. Second Maccabees 2:51. First Maccabees 2:51.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 50.
51.
51, Salakia. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
Listen, we got to remember what our ancestors did in their time. We have to remember the Nat Turners. We have to remember the people who read this book and understood that we are oppressed. We have to remember the people who did right and not the people who did wrong. Like our people want to remember the Cardi B's, the Megan Thee Stallions, the who's some more people? I ain't the best.
Shorty Red, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Our people want to remember all of the worst examples.
Young Miami.
Young Miami. You understand? What's his name? Will Smith.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? We just want to remember everything. Tyler Perry. We want to remember all these things that have destroyed us, instead of remembering the things that have lifted us up and just showed us something truthful. Like Nat Turner, he gave us a great look into reality, into the fact that we are oppressed,
right?
Into the fact that we should gather ourselves and get up out of here. You know what I mean? But because it's not enough of us that are one mind, one body, and one spirit, because enough of us don't fight for our laws and our lives, we perish. We perish because we care about the rudiments of the world and what this world has to offer. We perish. Give me Tobit 4 and 12. You know what I mean? I wanna so I can get there. I wanna just let everybody know that when it comes to the law, that is probably the best thing that happened to us. And so like you could hold that in Tobit real quick. I'm gonna go real quick. This is the book of Psalms 147 in verse 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments into Israel. So to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the blacks, Hispanics, and natives, that's who the Most High showed his judgments to. And how great of a thing is that? How great of a thing is it that we're the only people on the face of the earth who got told what to do by the Most High? The very next verse says, he have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for the law, because the law gave us life. The law gave us direction. The law is how we could see clearly and not through a glass darkly. Give me that verse in Tobit.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
So if the sister Sade Robinson had this counsel, she may have still been here with us today. If many other sisters and brothers, had taken this counsel, they could have avoided many situations. You understand? Because the counsel that was laid up from before, that was about the best thing to guide us. Because you got to think, if we're a special people and we start to wash down who we are, we're no longer that peculiar treasure. We're no longer a special people. We just like everybody else. So you have to remember that you have self-worth, because this place is going to try to teach you that you're not worth anything. This place is going to teach you that you're a scum.
Right.
Like I just recently, so again, let me find this. I just recently seen an article, not an article, but a post about how it's a preacher or a pastor, somebody, and he's give me on that, search up on that computer, Dale Partridge. It should already be up there, but he's basically a pastor. He's from Arizona, and basically he's teaching right now that the so-called African Americans should be enslaved by the Europes. We should go back to how the way things were, because we're so descendants of Ham. And if we are knowledgeable enough, we'll see that these people, they really don't like us. They really don't see us as like you. All you got to do is look in the Constitution. That's all you got to do to see that they don't really care about you, to see that you shouldn't be celebrating no 4th of July. That's all you really got to do. So like it happened.
You said Dale who?
Partridge.
Partridge.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, and it's cool. You don't even really gotta. We ain't even gotta go too deep into it. You know what I mean? I just wanted to, bring that up. That there are people out here who don't think that we should, just be free. And y'all have to keep that in mind. You understand? Read the rest of that. And you still got Tobit? Yeah, read the rest of that out for me.
Come. And take not a strange woman to wife,
Like, what would be a strange woman? Somebody of these other nations. Like, if you were to get an Arab, you know, a Moabite, you know, a Hivite, somebody from Ham, just any of these other nations, if they are not a descendant of what they'll actually show you in this verse who you should take a wife of, or for this, there's who you should take a husband of. Read on.
Which is not thy father's tribe.
Right. So if you're a black, Hispanic, or a native, you shouldn't be taking somebody to wife or somebody to husband, or you shouldn't be having sexual relations with somebody who is not of your tribe or your father's tribe or just your nation of people. And this doesn't come from us. This doesn't come from us saying it. It comes from the Most High God. It comes from His law. So this is another way how we see how the law gives us light and gives us direction. Because without the law, we would have been thinking just like every other nation thinks that we could just, sleep with whoever we want.
Right.
Like, think about it. You don't see Esau worrying about who he's sleeping with. You don't see Ham or Japhet worrying about who they sleeping with. I mean, don't get me wrong. I even look into the Asiatic culture, and they pretty strict on their traditions. They don't allow, well, it's frowned upon, I should say, when they intermingle. And I just look at my people, and my people don't really frown upon that. And they should. And I think that it's a terrible thing that we don't, because the Most High God said that we shouldn't. Even back in Deuteronomy, He said because it was going to turn our hearts, and that's exactly what it did. He said because it was going to lead us into destruction, and that's exactly what it did. Read on. Which is not, Salakia.
Salakia.
For we are
the children of the prophets.
Right.
No, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right. So if they are not from Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob in that order, then you should not be, dealing with them in that manner.
Right.
In the manner of a sexual manner, or, just anything like that. You should try to, not even try. You shouldn't do it, because the Most High said, don't do it. Read on. Remember, my son.
I got it. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
So when we look back at our ancestors, they married people of their kin. They married people of their people. They kept it inside. They didn't go to the outskirts, to the other people, and experiment, and try this and try that. They didn't do all that. They kept it. Like, here's a book that the blood stay pure. We need to keep our blood pure.
Right.
We don't need to allow them to wash us down, because we washed down enough as a people. You understand? We broken enough as a people. You understand? And why would we let a people who hunts our steps, a people who hates, has a perpetual hatred? Like, think about it. They look at you as merchandise, and you would like to have a relationship with them. So you're searching for love, and they're searching to use. So how do you think that's going to end? It ain't going to end good at all. And this is why being mindful and having knowledge is the way out.
Right.
And I'm not just saying get any knowledge, because our people will go and get any knowledge. I'm saying get the knowledge of the Most High God. Understand that the Most High God set up a way from the beginning for you to avoid this. Any more in that verse?
And we're blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. That's it.
Okay. All right, give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4. Here we go.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 1. Now, therefore, hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live.
Listen, the Most High God said that we should listen to the things he told us to do so that we could live. Because when you look around, right, what can you honestly say that, like, when it comes to survival techniques, what do black people pass down for survival technique? Just traditions on how to survive and how to live, how to, just flourish. What do black people honestly pass down? Anybody in the class? Like, what can y'all say y'all generations have always passed down as a, just something for how to survive in the world? Has it been wicked or
Trauma.
trauma? You say trauma? I could agree. And when you go into that a little bit, what you mean by that? Like when you say they pass down trauma for survival, what you mean by that?
They pass down that survival tactic to like all right, for a sister might not be raised by her parents. She might have been raised by her grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And in her life, they might it to her, anybody that came around just left her or discarded her. You know what I mean? And she have a child.
Mm-hmm.
And she teaches that child to have that same attitude or to deal with people that in that same light,
right,
to discard them or flee them.
Okay.
Any chance, they feel,
So I see what you're saying. So you're saying, like, in our culture, when it comes down to, like, your parents might have went through something, and that trauma they passed down, which now becomes a defense mechanism for you.
Right.
Yeah, I could agree to that. And that's very true. And you got to think about it. Instead of us passing down trauma and, instead of us trauma bonding all the time and trying to, figure out the wrong ways to do stuff, we should just read in the book. Give me it's in Romans. Give me Romans 9. Give me Romans 9. Where it say things that was written aforetime. Because we need to understand that we don't need to think, man. We don't need to think about anything. All we need to think is the law. The law. We don't need to try to think about, dang, how I'm going to deal with this situation. Because if it's in a book, there's an answer to it. Like what the brother just said, for instance, with the sister who went through something and now raises a child. What should she do? She should look to break that curse. She should look to where, how could I, because I ain't gonna lie, I think black people do look and be like, you know what, I don't want my children to go through what I went through. But we see in the Bible that this is why we shouldn't even be celebrating birthdays. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a deeper meaning to why we shouldn't celebrate birthdays as well. But we see that the day we was born in the Bible, it say that we was born to see labor and sorrow. Right. So we shouldn't be passing down traditions and customs that is only gonna further our indoctrination. But what we should pass down, like it said in Tobit, is the traditions of old, the things where our same people earned favor. Because did not Moses, did not Abraham, did not Jacob and Isaac,
right,
all earn favor? Did not they earn favor by just doing what they were told? It's that simple. Black people will go and make it complicated. That simple. Just do what you told. Do what you told. Don't sleep with other nations. They don't like you. Don't treat anybody like a friend. Don't credit somebody your friend before you test them. So we know that these laws and these things were set up for us to survive. We know that it was survival tactics and it was survival things set up for us from the start. So why would we go try to make our own survival tactics? Like brothers have passed down traditions like, nah, yo, you know what? Don't don't uh don't ask for favors because you don't want to owe nobody nothing. And that's a good tradition. You know what I mean? I ain't even gonna lie. You don't want to owe anybody, but it's also not wrong to ask for favors. So you see how like it's certain traditions and certain survival tactics that we pass down that is detrimental. Rather than passing down the law where you can see how there's a law that says if you borrow, you pay back.
Every cent.
You see how simple it can be? It's simple. Like it says, seek the Lord with a simplistic mind. That's what we're supposed to do. Just seek the Lord with a simplistic mind. So don't make it difficult. The Lord ain't the author of confusion. You got that verse in Romans?
Romans. Yep. This is the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4.
15.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Right. So we don't have to pass down what we think is right or traditions that we made up, because the scriptures said that there was things that was written aforetime so that we could learn from. It's like life. It's life lessons in the Bible. That's what the Bible is. It's a bunch of do's and don'ts. So it's like, how are we still at the bottom when we got the blueprint? We got the blueprint of everybody that did the same things we're doing now. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Hold on. Hold it real quick. Let me get there real quick. Make sure it's... Nah, it's like it. Give me chapter 1. And you can start at verse 4. Or you know what? It's like it. Let's start at verse 1.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 1. The word of the preacher, the son of David.
This is the son of David.
King in Jerusalem.
He was king at the time. Verse 2.
Vanities of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity.
What is vanity? Anybody in the chat or anybody in the class? What is vanity? That was a great question.
That's great.
What is vanity? If you got the answer, put it in the chat. You know what I mean? If you got the answer, raise your hand. But I want to know what is vanities, because we see right here, you know, David's son is saying all is vanity. What does he mean by that? All is vanity. First, we'll see what is vanity. Anybody?
I'm gonna say,
like, raise your hands. Got it.
Emptiness.
Emptiness. Vanity is emptiness. In what regard? Like in what way?
I'm gonna say Salakia. To be in vain.
Be in vain is what?
To cause I'm gonna say like
It's anything of yourself.
I'm
So like anything of yourself. So like let's say let's read
to lead astray, Salakia.
in a sense, anything of yourself. So let's read the context and let's see. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. What profit have a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun?
Right. So what profit can any man have out of all the jobs, out of all work that anybody could do on earth? What profit can we really have? What profit any of us have out of every job there is on earth? All the people who are doing underwater welding, making thousands, all the CDL drivers who's making thousands a week, all the doctors, nurses, all these people who feel like they're actually doing good. They're actually doing good in the earth. Why is David's son saying that it's vain? Like we would think that if you're a doctor making, 5-6 figures, you're good, right? Right? Wouldn't we think that?
Yeah,
but how could it be vain? It's because if it's not the, let's see if you said it. If it's not the work of the Lord, it's vain. If you're not going to, we know vanity or anything that's vain is anything of yourself. So if I was to go and get a good job as a doctor and really start thriving, really start making money, all of that is for me, unless I pour it back into the Most High's cause. This is why it's vain. This is why it don't matter what you do on earth. If you're not doing the work of the Lord, it's for you. And we have to keep that in mind. Because the reason I went here to this chapter is just to show that give me verse 4.
Verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
We know that this earth is going to be here forever, but our generations aren't. Our generations pass. You got the baby boom era. You got the give me some different eras. You got the Gen Zs. You got the all the different things, all the different categories that they got, all of the different generations. You understand? So as these generations pass on, it's about what we're passing down.
Right.
Because if we're not passing down something stable to stand on, like a brother brought out something real good in one of his classes about a real strong foundation. You remember that scripture about the strong foundation and the sandy foundation that you had brought out? It was a real good analogy, basically, though, and it was basically showing you how us as the Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, or us as the chosen people, we need to build each other up on a strong foundation. And what would be that strong foundation? What way can foretell the future? What way can see problems before they happen? The Lord's way, the law. So if we build ourselves up on the law, we should be able to flourish.
Sir.
Oh, you got it?
I got it.
The water.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 24.
You got it when you're ready.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these things, saying, of mine, sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock.
So if you do the sayings that the Most High said to do, he gonna look at you as a wise man if you do what he said to do. But if you also like build your house up on his structures, he's gonna look at it as a strong foundation. He's gonna look at it as strong as a rock. Read the next verse.
Verse 25. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat up that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
Right. So it doesn't matter what comes and tries to throw you off your pivot. It doesn't matter what comes and tries to destroy that foundation. As long as that foundation is strong and solid, it won't move.
Right.
It won't be swayed. Hold that real quick. I got a precept. Wave of the sea. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 6. Slacky. It say, but let him act in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice that he is exalted. So you got to remember that you don't want to build your foundation on that sandy way that could be, moved easily. You want to build your way up upon the law, because the law is going to stand no matter what happens to you. No matter what gets thrown your way, the law going to stand. So look, let me give you an example. When Christ was tempted and Satan was like, man, throw yourself off of this cliff and the angels will give charge of thee. They'll save you. What did Christ say? You give me that? It's like, yeah, I got you. It's in, got you. The scripture about Christ being tempted by Satan when he was telling them to kill himself. When he's telling them throw himself off the cliff. And Christ was like, no. You understand? Because you got to think about it. Christ was such a wise brother. The scriptures say he was a storeman. Well, it's likely I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he was a real wise and stern man. So you got to understand, he wasn't as the wave of the sea, as the scripture just said. He wasn't a man that could be waved easily or moved easily, because he built his foundation upon the law. And he was a black man. He was a black man. He was one of the first black men to build his life up and the people around him up on the law. And we see how much good he did. So why wouldn't we want to mimic him? Let me know when you got that. Hold on, so I can get it for you. It's in Matthew, if I'm not, or Mark.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and verse 6.
You got it.
Salagia.
You can start at verse 5.
Verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him.
So he set him up at a high point. You understand? And this is what he said to him.
If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee.
So now Satan is trying to tempt Christ. And if Christ was as a wave of the sea, he would have jumped. But because Christ was an austere man, and because Christ was stern, and because Christ built his life upon the law, this is the answer he got. Read on.
For Salakia, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Verse 7. Yahweh Shah said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
So he gave him the law. He said, man, you shouldn't tempt the Most High. You understand? So instead of getting into a different temptation, instead of getting into a situation that was real thick, he didn't make a hasty decision. He just relied on the law. And this is what our people had to start to do. We have to start to rely on the law for everything, every little thing. Who should we date? Look back at the law. Who should we love? Look back at the law. How should we choose friends? Look at the law. Because this is how we avoid any more Daniel Irvings. This is how we avoid any more Sade Robinsons. This is how we avoid any more Sonia Massey, Salakia, if I'm butchering her name. But this is how we avoid all of these circumstances. Like integration had to be one of the worst things for us. It had to be one of the worst things because it took us out of the mindset of understanding separation and out of understanding that separation was a good thing. You know what I mean? You tell Black or Hispanic nowadays that they do not belong with everybody and they hate you for it. And it's crazy. But, you know, with that being said, you got the joint. So like, yeah, one second. All right, we got one more verse we're going to read. We're going to close it out. Give me the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. And we need to understand that, knowledge is the best for us. As
Those 4 and
6. Knowledge is the thing that's going to get us out of, oppression. You understand? And it's not anybody's knowledge. It's the knowledge of the Most High and the knowledge of his law and what he has to give for us. Because we can't keep relying on our knowledge. Our knowledge is what's going to keep us down. And we have to start to rely on the law like Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the people after that. Go ahead, read it out when you got it.
Khan, this is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
Right.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Right. So understand that the brothers and sisters who was unalive for doing things they couldn't have been doing, they was just rejected by the Most High. They was rejected. And it's unfortunate, but we need to wake up. We need to wake up and see that our lives is not like everyone else's lives. Like, you're a special people. Like, think about this. If you're the only one in the world, imagine you was the only person in the world who knew the right thing to do. Don't you think that you would have more of a punishment than anybody else? So you have to realize that you're being punished for knowing the right thing to do and not doing it. You understand? Any questions in the chat? Any questions in the room? Y'all good? All right, with that being said, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Makawar.
ISUPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are to be saluted only. They are off limits for 6 months. They are here to learn and shed themselves of the world. If any transportation is needed, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister is interested in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10. Ma'ashah means tenth in Hebrew, tenth of every penny of increase the Lord gives you. Priest funds is anything that anything that you feel is you can give. It's not mandatory. Holy convocations is
The memorial blowing
the
trumpets.
memorial blowing the trumpets. We're going to have it right here in Delaware. All the brothers, Black, Native Americans, and Hispanics, come get down with us. If any brother wants to become a trooper, start wearing all black boots, headbands, shirts, pants, scarf. With that being said, men of Israel, Amijah means to stand. We're gonna give a courtesy salute. Amijah, Salat. Amijah Shabbat. Amijah Barak.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
Yajmatah. We're going to turn to the sisters, give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters, stand. Men of Israel, Amijah. Amijah Shabbat. Barak.
Yahweh Shamar Alatham Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah.
Yajmatah. Class. Slide.
Yahweh, Shamar, Elathan, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai.
Yajmatah. Class dismissed.